Hey, welcome back to the stash. What makes a good Spider-Man costume? A question that seems to have become so complicated over recent years when in reality it should be quite simple. It's a dilemma that seems to just plague new artists' minds when desperately trying to conjure up something new and exciting, yet all we're really left with is just a bunch of forgettable suits which will make us say, oh yeah, there was a thing, like several months from now. To me at least, what makes a good Spidey suit is a simple classic design. I'm very much a traditionalist when it comes to my Spidey costumes, and the classic red and blue suit will always be the Spidey outfit for me. If I had to go with a close second, I'd probably say the black suit, specifically the Ron Friends black suit. For the red and blue, my favourite artist one would probably be John Romita Sr., and it's pretty much tied with Mark Bagley's version as well. But you might be thinking two things now. One, did I click on the wrong video, where's the bad suits? And two, well, what about the more unique alternative suits? To that I have to say, well, no, and a personal favourite of mine that's more out there would have to be Ben Reilly's suit when he debuted as the sensational Spider-Man in issue 0 of that series. It was drawn and written by Dan Jurgens, and I think for a redesign, this is as good as it gets. It's bold, new, fresh, and stylish. It pops and says, look at me, I'm the sensational Spider-Man. Somehow Insomniac still haven't used this suit in their games, and I guess they just hate greatness and would rather shove another dozen shitty original costumes no one asked for.
What the f is this piece of shit?
So join us today as we go over some of Spider-Man's worst ever costumes in his history. But before we do that, I just wanted to say a few things quickly. Firstly, this is a requested video by Brandon who's purchased himself a channel membership, so special shout out and a massive thank you to you for supporting the channel and pretty much sponsoring this video. I really hope that you and everyone else enjoys it. Secondly, this video is all in jest. I understand how difficult it can be to come up with a new design, especially for someone like Spider-Man. So just remember that this video is all in good fun. And thirdly, I wanted to say if you are new around here and you like Spidey or comic content in general, feel free to stick around and maybe hit that subscribe button. We are trying to reach 1,500 subscribers before the end of the month, and with your help, I know we can do it. Now, with all that being said, let's get straight back into the video. So for this list, I'm going to try and organize it in some fashion by movies, shows, video games, and then the comic books, as well as an overall list at the end with each suit I dislike. Starting off with the movie suits, I can't really call any of the Sam Raimi suits bad. They're all great designs that work so well in each film. Not only that, but, the costumes are just simply iconic in their own right. Even Andrew Garfield's suits, I love both of them. I think the first one fitted really well with the tone and story they were going with, and then for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, need I say more? It's beautiful. So for the movie suits, I think it has to lie within the Tom Holland films. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the homemade suits like the Human Spider and such just don't count. It feels pretty pointless to add them when the whole purpose is meant to be that they're not that good. But anyway, back to Tom's suits. I think it's between the Iron Spider probably and the integrated suit. Come on, how do you manage to mess up one of Spider-Man's most simplest designs? We even have concept art of what would have been an amazing Iron Spider suit for Tom that stays true to the original look with a little tweak or two to have their own mark on it. But seriously, why go from that to this? The blue on the suit makes the gold look pointless and out of place, which isn't what you want for an Iron Spider design, and it follows the same outline of the classic suit, making it feel less unique and more like a boring upgrade. And for the integrated suit, my thoughts towards it are pretty simple. Big dumb gold spider thrown on top of one of Tom's best suits. It's lazy, ugly, and entirely there for the sole purpose of selling more action figures. Overall, they're both pretty bad, but I think I'm going to have to go with the integrated suit just for how forced it was in that movie. Now for TV shows, I'm going to have to go with the one from the 2017 cartoon. If the show wasn't already bad enough, this suit is just the icing on the cake. They used the blue to create segments within the waist and arm areas, and it just feels like how I would imagine a modern Spider-Man costume would look like. I just hate how the blue on the wrists make the red on the hands look like gloves. What was the point of that? Especially how they have the blue on the palm of his hands as well. It just looks so weird. Also, instead of just getting rid of the red band on the side of the arm completely like most, modern redesigns of the suit, they decided to only separate it from the shoulders, which just, doesn't really work as well. It just makes the suit look really unfinished. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just seems a bit wrong. It's maybe like the artist just forgot to add the extra line and color it in, and, he just thought to himself, nah, it'll be fine. For TV shows, this probably has to be the worst one for Peter. It's so unnecessary too, considering he wore this in the show as well. What the hell was wrong with this one? What made you go, nah, this is better? You know what, let's leave the games till last because my god, the amount of Insomniac stinkers can only be compared to Davy Jones' locker from SpongeBob. So for the comic book one, I'm gonna go with that weird time where Spider-Man was streaming himself fighting crime and he wore that abomination of a costume, because in my humble opinion, this needs to be forgotten. This is wrong. I mean, just look at it. Besides the blue, none of the colors actually relate to Spider-Man. The thin neon spider looks dumb, and the eyes. God, the eyes. I personally can't stand whenever he has two sets of eyes in his costume. It looks so unnerving and not in the cool way. I honestly think this suit's biggest offense is that it doesn't actually feel like a Spider-Man costume. If anything, it's more closer to those weird knockoff toys you'd find at the milk bar. Now for this next part, it's pretty big since Insomniac, like mentioned before, has so many bad designs that no one asked for. So for Marvel's Spider-Man 1, I'm gonna have to go with the armored advanced suit. It's way too over the top, and I for one am very sick of armored designs in general. At least the MCU Iron Spider actually resembled Spider-Man, even though it defeated the whole purpose of the suit. Here you take away the logo and you'd probably think it's like that time travel suit from Endgame. The red paneling doesn't work at all and feels pretty out of place considering it also has black paneling too. All you had to do was just pick one and end it.
Just take one dip and end it.
For Marvel's The Avengers, I would just say they're all trash and should never see the light of day ever again. Like seriously. Ew. But for the sake of trying to stay somewhat organized in this very messy video, I'm just going to go over the design for their red and blue suit, their own personal one they did. It feels like they just vomited boring and annoying modern Spider-Man redesigns onto one suit and made this thing. Double eyes for literally no reason at all, which looks so off-putting. Weird ugly spider that barely even looks like a spider and more like some tangled cables, a black outline section off the red and blue parts, utterly pointless panel work on the blue areas which serve no purpose and just make the suit look more busy for no reason at all, breaking off the red parts is a lazy way to make it unique. Like, can we stop getting rid of this part of the suit? Please? It just looks stupid and weird. Wait a second. Let me get this straight. You remove the belt, but only to put a blue panel to insinuate this is where the belt would be. Doesn't that sort of defeat the whole purpose of removing it from the first place?
What's the point?
I'm not one to speak early, but I think we may have found the winner for the worst Spider-Man suit. This is really bad. But, you know, for the sake of the rest of the video, we're going to go to the last game now, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. This is going to be in order from least disliked to most, considering there's so much from this game that I don't like. So starting off, we got the Advanced Suit 1.0. Now the reason it's on this list and not the first game is because of how the 2.0 version made this one look 10 times worse than what it was 5 years ago. Believe it or not, I used to actually like this redesign, but after getting the new version, it just looks so ugly now. The spider not fitting inside the red area is just such a weird design choice to me. It just makes it feel like the spider was just too big for the suit. And the color palette is horrible. This isn't red. That's orange. How do you even get something like that so wrong? Next on the list is the Last Hunt suit. Almost nothing about this says Spider-Man minus the logo, but even then it's a 6-legged spider. I hate how all the panel work just makes it feel so over-designed for what should be a pretty simple concept. Now the 25th Century suit. It looks so bulky, and if there's one thing that I can't stand personally with my Spider-Man redesigns, is when it looks like he can't even walk 2 steps before kicking the concrete, tripping over and smashing his head. It's like a poor man's version of the Life Story suit, which is even in this game. So what was really the point of this one? Next is the Stone Monkey suit. I can't really imagine a scenario as to why Peter would actually wear this one, let alone own this thing. I hate whatever this is. I get what they were going for, but seriously, God, I just hate his hair showing at the top. It's like a design element that only works, you know, if you're gonna just show your whole head of hair, like Gambit or Cyclops. Now for the Saving Lives suit, it pretty much just sums up how I feel about Wraith in Spider-Man 2. Ugly and pointless. Yet another suit that does not resemble Spidey in the slightest, with an ugly color palette and just useless lines all over the suit. Also, I really don't like how it looks like he's wearing a jacket with pants. That just bothers me for some reason. I mean, the whole Wraith design in general was pretty bad in this game, and the fact it resulted in this offspring makes me hate it even more now. But last and definitely least, we have whatever this abomination is. It's just so ugly. You wouldn't even think it's Spider-Man. Why is it even here? You're telling me we got this thing, but not Ben Reilly's suit in the game? I don't even think I need to say much about it, because all you have to do is just look at it and you'll understand my pain and frustration with this one.
Oh, Your Highness, I'm sure it's not that noticeable. Bald!
You know what, let's just move on to the final list, because I gotta get this thing off my screen. So coming in at number 13, we have the integrated suit, and I know I said earlier that this was worse than the MCU Iron Spider because of the intention behind it, but in terms of a design-wise, it's probably the least offensive one on the list. Number 12 is gonna be the MCU Iron Spider, and after looking through Insomniac's designs, I now have a greater appreciation for this one. That says a lot about the rest of the list. Number 11 is gonna go to the Advanced Suit 1.0. The way the 2.0 sort of just ruined this one needs to be studied, but I think a lot of it just comes down to the ugly orange they picked for the color. I still don't understand how you get something like that wrong though. It's a pretty simple thing to get right. Number 10 goes to the Advanced Armor Suit, or the Armored Advanced Suit. It's just a way shittier version of the previous one, and that's pretty much it. Number 9, we're gonna have to go with the 2017 Show Suit. It's like the Avengers design, but just slightly less ugly. You know, in comparison to that one, it gets rid of a lot of the parts that make it feel over-designed, and in this case, it's just more or less a bad design. I mean, thank God it just doesn't have random blue lines going everywhere in the blue section to just fill it up for no reason. Number 8 is going to be the 25th Century Suit because like I said, it's a poor man's life story suit, and the boots suck. Number 7 goes to the Apocalyptic Suit, and, you know, it's a pretty forgettable and overall just very ugly design. The hair part is just stupid as well. You know, like, what were they thinking with this one? Number 6, I'm going to have to give it to the Stone Monkey Suit. I mean, like I said before, I just can't see why Peter would actually wear this. Number 5, the Last Hunt design has nothing to do with Spider-Man, just like the rest of this list -1, and overall is just pretty boring. Number 4, I'm going to go with that weird white, orange, and blue suit from the comics. At least it kept some sort of, like, you know, the same layout of the classic suit, but my god, it's just so hard to look at. Top 3 now, ladies and gentlemen. At third spot, I'm going to give it to the Saving Lives suit. I don't think I've ever actually used this in-game, not even for a second, just to see what it looks like, because I genuinely hate the suit. In at second place, I'm going to give it to this abomination that is known as the Kumu suit. Nothing about it makes sense, and it just shouldn't even be a thing. Which means the winner of the worst Spider-Man suit is the Avengers redesign. What's worse than making a suit that doesn't even resemble Spider-Man? Well, I'd say you'd be ruining the most simplest and awesome suit ever, the classic red and blue suit. I find this design almost offensive. It's every shitty modern redesign merged into one over-designed mess. It not only misses the mark when it comes to being a Spider-Man costume, but also just being a good-looking suit in general. It's everything wrong with the modern Spider-Man design. But that caps off our list and today's video, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because here, any support means so much. I'd love to hear in the comments section down below what you think is the worst Spidey suit. We can start a conversation. There is so many to pick from. You can go from the comics, the movies, the video games. You know, like, it was pretty difficult to sort of do the end of the list, but the Marvel's Avengers suit is just so offensive, in my opinion, to the eyes, and I just had to put that at first. But anyway, be sure to tune in next time, same web time, same web channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and see you in the next one.